Hello and welcome to the Salty Sarge Podcast. This is Tech Guy. Please enjoy part 3 of an interview with Tommy. Just a fair warning, this is a bit of a gruesome episode. It's got some more touchier subjects than we normally cover. But if you wanted to kind of steer away from those, I would recommend about the 15 minute mark. And that will get you through the rest of the episode, which is kind of more of our normal style. All right, thank you. Enjoy.
So what was one of like your most like memorable like calls that just was either crazy, like I say crazy funny, or just
what's in the greatest hits list?
Yeah,
so I've got 3 or 4. So I got a gory one that's pretty nasty. I've got I'm trying to think of which one would be. This one's probably the funniest one.
Okay.
Not for the guy that was involved, but for me, it's the most hilarious.
To witness it?
Lord have mercy. So we get a call. So I'll preface this saying this guy was our problem child. He is the one that called 3 or 4 times a day. He had something wrong all the time. Somebody was messing with him, or he was messing with somebody. He was the guy we constantly were getting calls from. It's taking up my evening shift time. And
was he Seagate? Oh, and just another caveat: no, Seagate in our world means just mental health, mentally ill.
No. Maybe, but not like.
Was it like a Karen?
He was just,
like a nosy person that irritated people.
It was a Native American guy, and jobless.
Oh, was he okay?
No job, and he just drinking all the time.
Yeah, intoxicated. Okay.
I don't want to stereotype the guy. But
right.
It's just this guy wasn't Native American. He drank all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But long story short, so we get a call from him one night that said he had went up to the local grocery store in the middle of the night to the Coke machine to get him a Coke, and 3 dudes jumped him and took him around the corner and raped him. And so we're like, oh, okay, well, that's a pretty big deal. So we roll out in force, and we go to his house, and he's showered, and he's cleaned up. And we're going, when did this happen? He told us the time, it was an hour or 2 before. We're like, it's the reason you waited to call, all that's, all the typical questions, like what's going on. Something didn't seem right. But he said that he felt like they may have put something in him, and from the rear end. And we're thinking, well, let's get an ambulance. So we got an ambulance. Ambulance came out, picked him up, took him to the hospital, called out detectives. One met him at the hospital. One responded to us. One went to the grocery store. By this point, it was getting daylight, and the store was fixing to open. So we sent a detective over to the store, start pulling video and all this kind of stuff. And all this, and I'm a supervisor, so I'm kind of getting all these pieces to me, and I'm with the main detective that's over the case. So we're getting this information. About the same time, we get a call from the guy at the grocery store. Says, hey, the manager showed up. We went in and pulled video. He pulled up, got a Coke, got back in his car and left. Nobody took him around the car anywhere unless it happened another day or another location. But here, he came and got a Coke and he left. Mm-hmm. And then right at that, we get a call from the detective at the hospital that says, the doctor just came out, and there is something in him. It's a Maglite, a flashlight. And we're going,
like the 16-inch
the C battery.
Like it was a big one?
The Maglites. The big one.
It was up his rectum?
It was in him.
Yeah.
Yes. Up his butt.
How was he walking around?
Not very well.
Was it upright? Was he just like, oh God, that would just be.
So we're going, at that point I'm going, we still don't know what, we're like, nobody was up there with him. Maybe it's somebody, your initial thought is somebody did it to him that he knows, and he made the story up. Because he don't want to get a friend, and or
my question is, how intentionally would you do that? How would you do that to yourself, and why?
So that's the confession we finally got. Was going to answer that.
The plot thickens.
So the detective at the hospital basically says, it's on camera, nobody's up there with you. Did somebody do this, and you're just trying to keep them out of trouble? What's going on? The confession was, instead of, he was pleasuring himself with this Maglite in his home, had it lubed up very well, obviously, because he's no rookie, apparently. So he has it very well lubed up, and he's going up in there, and if you know Maglite, skinny, big head,
Well, they're not that skinny. I mean, god dang, the radio.
Well, there's a skinny end, and then there's a head end.
Oh, yeah, the head end. So the head end it's not all the way up there, is there?
Apparently, he
Holy
wasn't enough. The skinny
moly.
end wasn't enough, so he went to try to stick the big one up there just a little bit,
And it sucked
and
it in.
sucked it in and clenched over
no.
it, and he couldn't get it back out. The kicker on, the detective calls me laughing. I said, "What?" She goes, "He's going to have surgery. The doctor can't get it out. It's because it's on, and it's hot, and it was getting too hot on his gloves.
Oh,
The doctor's afraid his glove's going to melt trying to get it out, so they're going to have to cut him and physically remove the flashlight. So he's having a pretty major surgery to remove this Maglite.
That's insane.
So long story short, case closed. Don't be a dumb ass. Keep Maglites out of your mouth.
So, did he ever call the police after that?
Never heard from him again. I don't think, maybe one time I can remember him getting a call out there, but it wasn't from him. It was but no, the calls stopped because how are you going to look somebody in the eye when you,
Yeah, because you definitely, as a street officer, you would have brought that up a lot. Like, hey, Mag, what's up, my man?
I saw the x-rays. Like, the detective
Holy
showed me the
hell.
pictures of the x-rays, and it's like,
That is unbelievable.
it's the craziest story that I had that's humorous.
I mean, a Maglite. God dang.
Yeah, it was a bad deal. And the best part for me was that it was on. And it was like, like the sun shining.
Oh, God.
He could really have mooned people. Like, he should have left it in there. Like, can you imagine mooning somebody and bright light?
lights up. Oh, God.
Yeah, so that guy, we didn't hear from. He died not too long after that. Like, he was a young guy. He died young from health issues, obviously. So, pretty bad alcoholic and all the things that go with that. But
Probably before he stretched out there.
It wrecked him for sure.
That's good.
But yeah, that was probably the funniest story that I had over all those years. And I mean, there's
Now, we mean funny by that, folks. We mean like cop humor. I mean, wild story. Okay, like it's a terrible event. This guy, I mean, god dang, he probably should have got help. All that.
disclaimers,
Yeah, we don't want to. Like, good lord, we don't want to have to.
But we're talking about
but in
dealing
the
with
cop
stuff.
humor world, you have to understand. Okay, when we're out there on these calls and doing this stuff, we go back to our car, and yes, we talk about all of you. We talk about things on your walls.
Yes.
We talk about randomness because, folks, it's funny to us,
and it's no different than, and here's how I see it now that I'm in the corporate world. You know, Sally and Sarah sit around the water cooler laughing about how a coworker they don't like got stood up, or
There you go.
It's
Yeah.
same thing. That's their release. You have to talk about these things, and something like that. How can you not laugh?
Oh, absolutely. How do you? Oh, yeah. You're getting.
I mean, we weren't standing there like nodding, but seriously taking, and that's what you have to understand. Like, when I say we're laughing about this stuff, this is after we've got confessions from him that he did it to himself. Like, up until that point, when he confessed that he
You
did this,
handled
was a
it
very
just like a
serious crime.
serious
we
matter.
were treating it as a rape. And
Exactly. And that's the thing. We will handle the call.
Yes.
And then off to the side, because I've been complaining on before because I was making fun of a guy that he was just that moment where he's not used to, he's like a sheep. He's not used to like an exciting event. And I'm just standing there like, this is not a big deal at all.
Mm-hmm.
And he calls and complains, and I'm just kind of like, wow, like
Is
you really
that the overexpressive
we have-
hands guy?
I'm like, he was just like, that was like, you really complaining about that? Well, I had a traumatic event you was involved in. I'm like, okay, well, anyway, welcome to my world, but because to some that could be pretty traumatic. And I guarantee you in the medical world they were laughing, and I guarantee that doctor had that on their wall.
There's like podcasts,
That
videos,
X-ray.
just weird things that people have done to themselves and ended up in the ER. Like I think that's literally a TV show.
Well, there was like 1,000 Ways to Die.
Yes.
And those were like interesting.
Well, it was, and we have there's so much a different perspective when you're involved. Like, so I had a guy, an older gentleman. When I say older, I think he's 60 or mid 60 or something. Apparently, he was a truck driver, got in a bad wreck. His wife was having to work still because he got in this bad wreck as a truck driver, and she was working to keep him with insurance. And she was getting up there, could have retired, but still working because he's apparently severe back pains, all this stuff. And so he calls dispatch and says, I'm going to commit suicide. Send the ambulance. Of course, they call us and say, we need you to go there first. The ambulance ain't going to just go pick up a dead body. And so we show up, and he's sitting in the front yard in one of the metal folding chairs at the end of his driveway, which is several hundred yards long. And we pull up. We try to tactically pull up, hide, and I'm sure he saw us, but we're hopping between trees, trying to make our way up there, and you can clearly see he's holding a gun, like he's holding a little revolver. And we get close enough, and he shows us the revolver, literally puts it up in the air, and I went to say whatever I was going to say, don't do this or whatever. And he just bent the elbow and kapow, and that was it. Like, I remember when he did that, when he shot himself in the temple, and I can still vividly remember the spray, the whole, I can remember every detail of this thing. Mm-hmm. But in my head, I screamed like a child on the radio that he had just committed suicide. I think it was signal 30, maybe. I think that's what we call all the fatality. Anything.
Ours are 6.7s, like that.
Yeah, I think we just anything. If it was death, it was signal 30. But so I said, he's committed signal 30. Start the ambulance, stage him down the road till we can check. But in my head, I'm screaming like a little boy, like a little kid, just terrified. Like I'm in my head. It's so loud. I'm screaming. I'm cracked voice. Like, I'm devastated. Like, I just watched this man commit suicide. Mm. And obviously it's first that I've seen of that.
And that's traumatic.
And it was not easy to watch or to process. So in my head, I was screaming like a little kid. Well, I made a point to go back and ask for the recording. When they did the investigation, they pulled all that. Mm-hmm. All the call, the 911, all that stuff. And I asked specifically to listen back to that. And I was so calm on the radio, talking like we're talking right now. Signal 30... he just committed signal 30, staged the ambulance. I need my units that are on scene are going to be tied up. I need dispatch. Can you rearrange the other deputies to cover the county? Bring the guys from in town. Bring them out to the county. Like, I was just like, we're sitting here talking, but in my head it was so loud, so noisy, and it's just weird how your brain processes that. And that was one of those ones when I found out what it was. I was devastated. It was traumatic. I was like, why did this guy do this? Like, why did he make me watch that? What an asshole. Like, I'm so mad that he did that. And it's the guys that use cops commit suicide. It's like, now that cop's got a scar for life because of this jerk that did that. I was having the same feelings probably. And then we got the note. We saw the note, and it basically said, I'm not getting better. My wife's going to have to work till she's 80 years old and not to get to enjoy her grandkids because of me, and I'm in so much pain. I don't want to be here. Basically, don't let her see me like this. Make sure you get me out of here, or don't let her see me. Is kind of what the note was. And I was so conflicted as a husband and a dad. I completely understood it. So I wasn't as mad at him anymore.
And see, overseas, like in Europe, they allow you under a doctor's care to have suicide.
Yeah. Canada.
And you know how much that, a lot of people, that's just crazy. It's crazy. I'm like, but listen, so you're putting officers and first responders and family members through a horrible experience, because I've witnessed a couple of those. I've been to a lot of shaky calls where it was like anymore we're experiencing where dads or moms, they're just going in and it's a homicide suicide. They're killing everybody and they kill themselves, and that sucked. Yeah. But how I process it is, I'm like, well, that was a horrible thing for them. Yeah. Not me. I'm going home. I have a family. Everything will be good. And that's how I kind of look at it. Like, that person had a bad day. Yeah. I didn't have a bad day. They had a bad day. Yeah. I'm not trying to be cynical or, but that's just how
your way of processing.
You have to detach.
Right. Yeah. You just can't. Yeah. Because when you go down those rabbit holes, and I think that's where some officers struggle, and they can't deal with that. And it's tough. I mean, I couldn't imagine being at the bombing. I mean, I haven't experienced something at that level. Yeah. Like the bombing. I mean, just about every officer that's experienced that has had a lot of issues in life. I'm sure. And there was a good friend of my dad's that took his own life because of that experience. But, it's just, but I've been to tornadoes and see devastation, and things like that, and death. But I mean, I can understand where you're coming from. I mean, you are agitated with that person. You're like, man, why did you do that? Like, why am I experiencing this? Yeah. Well, that's one of those experiences that we endure, and and a lot of folks don't understand that. If I come home, and I do talk to my wife a lot about stuff. I mean, I don't hold stuff back. I tell her. I mean, all that guys like, well, I never tell my wife. I'm like, well, that's stupid. Yeah. I told my buddy, I said, you need to talk to your wife. Like, you need to tell them stuff. You need to tell them, hey, this is what happened to me today. And I'm not, it was, and yeah, your wife, some wives will look at you like, well, that's horrible. I don't want to know. I just don't want to know. And I'm like, well, you need to know. Like, you need to know. You need to know where I'm at.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm had a horrible day today and I watched an infant child die, I don't want to walk into a beach party.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or I don't want to, hey, I'm not going to the store tonight. I don't like going to the mall with you or whatever. I mean, it's just one of those things. And my thing is, like, give me just a few minutes to adjust and then it's like, okay, all right, guys, now I'm good. You know, I mean, but I don't know. It's everybody's different, and these younger officers really struggle. They just go like in a dark hole or something, or a gaming world. You know, and I've never been really a gamer myself. I'm not much of a gamer. I just rather go build some useless furniture or something, you know. And that's just me. Yeah. I mean, my buddy recently was like, dude, we need to get you a gaming system because you can't really do a lot right now, and you just enjoy that. I'm like, I think the problem is I get addicted to it. I like it.
And then you would never.
Yeah, I just never. You know, I mean,
if I had a place like this with the PS5 out here, and I come out here, and Renee won't let me have video games for that exact reason, because she knows I'd become a non-productive person, and you know, I would sit there and play video games when I was bored instead of figuring out something else to do.
Right, there you go. Yeah, that's how I'd be.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been out of it long enough now that I didn't experience. I mean, iPhones had come out, like iPhones had just started coming out whenever I had left. People videotaping stuff. I mean, I remember because I see them now, the First Amendment auditor people. I see all these videos. Well, we had in strike. I was thinking back because we had got right after. I don't remember what had happened. Something had happened, and we got a memo out from the sheriff's office that if you see anybody taking pictures or videotaping the outside of any of the Thunderbird Dam, of certain OG&E plant, like we had all this list of things. If we saw
post office
that we're going to stop and we're going to detain and identify anybody taking those pictures. And now I'm thinking, oh my God, like that we would have been sued 100 times because it was a memo, which is essentially a policy that says you will stop and identify. And if they refuse to identify, we didn't really have any instructions. Like, what would I have done? I would have cuffed them and threatened them, you know, within an inch of their life to tell me who they were because they're out here taking pictures of stuff my boss said he didn't want you taking pictures of.
Yeah.
Now I realize that's completely against the law. Like, I can't go detain somebody because they're standing on a public roadway taking pictures.
Yeah, and there's a lot of those guys that do that, and people get so irritated. And I'm like, but why are you doing it? Like, what's the whole purpose behind
money?
it?
They want to sue you.
To get people riled up. Yeah, like the cart guy. Like, there was a guy that would go around.
The guy that makes people put their carts
and you know, he went on Dr. Phil. And Dr. Phil's like, what do you do for a living? He goes, I'm an attorney. I think he's an attorney. He goes, but why are you going? What gives you the right to go harass people like that? What does it matter?
Yeah.
Well, they should put their cart back. So,
yeah.
I mean, what does it matter? And I will say I put my cart back because of the guy, but you know, sometimes I'm like job security. You know, like someone does it. I mean, but I don't really care. I mean, if you go to like Aldi, you get to put in a quarter, and that's where it forces people to put their cart back. Like, develop a program like that. I mean, Aldi is you never see a homeless person with an Aldi card.
No,
you know?
I think we'll have to dive more into the First Amendment auditors in another episode. That would be a really good one to do.
Yeah, I've encountered one at a post office, and the funniest part, the funniest part about it was when I walk in, he's like filming, and the post office workers are pissed, and I'm like, how? And it just tell me it's Oklahoma. And I'm like, how are you not aware of this? Well, we never seen this. I'm like, there are like reel after reel of these guys.
Nonstop.
And the guy goes, oh, hey, Dan, what's up? And I go, what? He goes, it's me. It's me. He used to work at Penn Square Mall as a security guard. He was a goofball up there. And I go, oh, Lewis. And then, of course, all those people were like, you know this guy? And I'm just like, whoa, time out. We are not friends.
Yeah.
But the good thing is my department was not really aware of it. I saw the call and I was like, I'll go over and handle it. Not some young guy. Let me go handle it.
Yeah.
And when I talked to him, I knew his name and information.
Yeah.
So I just forwarded that up to criminal intel. And I was like, hey, by the way, and some post office guys, like the postmaster general guys, are like, they have police at this one, and they're like incognito kind of guys. And they can walk in. I'm like, hey, this guy's doing it. I'm like, well, it's not against the law.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a public place. He can do that. Now, he can't go to Walmart and do that. He can until Walmart says get the hell out.
Yeah.
Or Penn Square Mall and stuff like that. But, you know, I said, hey, he goes, well, we don't know how to handle this. I'm like, well, this is crazy that you guys don't have like a memo that just went out post office wide across the country. And I said, don't worry, I'm going to forward his information. I know who the guy is. And they really liked it. My criminal intel people loved it. I did a big email and they're like, thank you so much. We're going to encounter this guy.
Yeah.
So, but it's just different times, because even my dad would talk about, they never had that issue of people coming up in their face, or now it's just all you encounter. And it's like, and I love it because I'm like, look, I'm recording you. That's wonderful. I have a camera too. It's pretty cool, actually. Like, it's like digital. It's live.
There is no he said, she said.
Right. It's just like, I've been recording you since the start. So don't try to lie about stuff. You are being, and it's just a different world now, and I don't know. When
you asked me earlier if I had any family, and I always forget about this, my grandpa was a postal inspector. It's not like I said, oh, my grandpa's a postal inspector, I want to go be a cop or nothing like that. Didn't really influence that decision. But he did tell me stories, and one of them was the postal inspector, like he retired in the 80s or something. But the real quick story is, this one post office had mail turning up missing all the time. And they couldn't figure out what was going on. Like, they knew something was up. So he went in there, and he went in there for 4 hours one day, and he crawled up in the ceiling and like got it to where he could see through the ceiling tile in the sorting room. And he got in there and he saw these people, and they were literally just going through, and it looked like a birthday card. They'd toss it down in their bag. They'd just go through, and anytime they saw it was probably money, probably cash and a birthday card. They were throwing them in their bags, and then he followed them. They went around the corner, and they went behind an old shopping center and opened them up, took the cash out, and threw them. And so obviously they got arrested and all that stuff. But just hearing,
is that really federal time though?
I have no idea.
Because you're always like, messing with it. Because you'll get calls like,
tampering with the mail.
Hit my post office box. It's a felony. It's a felony crime. I'm like, well, I don't prosecute federal crimes on that, but it's just vandalism.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know what that's worth, but it's just simple vandalism is what I see. But
we could arrest people for stealing mail and that kind of stuff. But the postal inspector he's going to have to file charges through the inspector general.
And whether or not they take the case anymore, that's the thing. And that's the whole problem with today's time is my dad works for the department I work at, and he's civilian, and he files all the drug cases. And he goes, you're not going to believe, but these DAs are just dropping these cases right and left. And I'm like, then why are we out there doing this? So one of the cases I had, we get a call at this hotel. The security guy says, hey, this guy just offered me cocaine to buy. So we go over there, and this other partner of mine, older guy, I was just going to let the call just go. You get those calls like it solves its own problem. Mm-hmm. You drive over there, oh, it's right there, bye. It was a Saturday morning. I didn't want to mess with it because that hotel is known for that crap. So my partner goes over there and stirs the pot. He goes 97 on it real quick. And I'm like, God dang it. So I cruise over there, and he goes, I found the car, and there's people in it. And this guy is in there, and he's not really complying. Well, he finally opens the door. My partner comes around the side, and I'm standing there, and there's a pistol. It looks like a 9mm pistol in the door. My partner didn't see it. He's talking to the guy, and I just immediately move in. I said, gun. And I go for the gun, and this guy goes, oh, shit, he's a black guy. He's thinking, oh, God, we're going to shoot him. Yeah. We're like, my gun's not even out because I see the gun. Yeah. So I grab it, and I back out, and I secure it, and he won't come out of the car. And this is where I'm kind of thinking at the same time, a gray area. He said, we do it with the guns legal. I don't know. I don't even know why we're there. But anyway, so security identifies and says, and we find some cocaine later. Well, they ended up throwing the case out. My partner got hurt, though, during the process. He went down on his knee. We went down and popped his leg or hyperextended something, and he was hurt. And the guy was not being compliant. He kept sucking underneath. Yeah. So I just go, I'm going to tase him. And I tase him. Well, with tasers, you need to get distance to get a proper connection deployment. Well, I was literally a foot from him when I shot.
You darted him from a foot?
Yeah, I was boom! Because I was like, well, I'll just get him here, and then I'll come down here and shoot him, and then I'll get a good deployment. Because he was a big guy. And I shoot him right in the back, a good back shot, and the probes were real close together. But it hurt him. They went in. They go in about that far. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, okay. He goes, I give up. And he goes, what'd you shoot me for? And I go, I didn't really shoot you. I shot you with a taser. It's a less lethal device, And I said, but it worked. You're compliant. Yeah. He goes, okay. And we pull him out. And he's like, man, I can't. They just all start doing this dramatic crap now that just gets old, and it's like
You might as well
sitting
drive
up.
around with an EMT in your car.
Yes, I mean,
imagine.
I'm like, sit up. And he goes, well, I can't do that. Yeah, you can. And I'm trying to. Now you've gone from you want to fight me to now I'm trying to save your life. That's literally how it is.
Yeah.
You're dealing with him now because you're okay. Get an ambulance over here. I mean, you're trying to do whatever you can to make sure this guy doesn't die in your custody because you don't want that crap going on in your lap. You don't want to be on CNN, folks. That's the whole key.
That's the whole key.
And that's the thing is that as a veteran officer I'm not going to go out here today and end up on CNN or Facebook or any of that crap.
We would call it, I'm not going to go out and create case law today.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that's what I always say too to younger officers. I'm like, hey, there's case law on this. Like, you don't want or policy.
Yeah.
You don't want to have a policy attached to your name now.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But yeah.
Did you get taser? Like, did you?
Oh yeah.
You got shot with it.
Yeah. The only thing I haven't been is shot with a handgun.
Yeah.
Now, what's funny is that one of the instructors at one time, I don't think it was a myth, I don't know, just to screw with people was, okay, everybody's got to get tased. I mean, everybody they're asking the courts, and I raised my hand and I said, look, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of because I carry a firearm, okay? Are you going to take us out back and shoot us in the chest with a gun?
Yeah.
No. I go, shut up. And I go, first off, I have tased multiple people, and I have never in my career had ever had an attorney ask me, it feels like, I'm like, good God. You know what I mean? It's just dumb.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was more of like I thought it was more like a prank.
Like a hazing.
Yes. Because I'm like, look, get it over with.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. So now we have new tasers that they actually are shells and they shoot up to like 30, 40 feet, and there's 10 shots in that sucker.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, now it's like a gun.
Okay.
So now we've
They're
gone
still got
from,
the string or the wire.
Yeah, but they're individual shots. So it's 10.
So if you do shoot him with one, does it still do anything?
Well, so you got the two. It's okay. I take that back. So there's 10 shots. So there's 10 cartridges, but there's 2 of them. So it's like pop, and they look like shell casings. They're real long. So it actually is combustible and everything.
Okay.
So the other ones were air.
Yeah.
And these are like full on gunpowder. So now they have to rewrite some stuff on that, and it's supposed to be. Oh my God! Because there was a policy where you can only tase someone for so many rides, like 15 seconds
total.
So that's 3.
Yeah.
So then after that, what do you do? I mean, what do you want us to do about it? And then now you can't even. So now everybody's all about the rear naked choke method and so choking people out because you just put them to sleep. Mm-hmm. But it looks bad, right? If you do it wrong, you could really hurt them. But if you do it right, they just go to sleep.
Yeah.
And it saves the officer's life and theirs. And we had a video where an officer did that. And our teacher's like, oh, we need to look into this. Well now it's like you can, in our policy, you can't do it unless it's lethal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? So why am I not shooting the guy then? Because if he's got my gun, if he's going for my gun, if someone reaches for my firearm or grabs it, you are now lethal. Because what's their intention? Their intention is to try to get that gun to kill you. So it's like at that point, in the court's eyes, it's you can deploy that gun and shoot them and kill them. And because now, are officers going to do that? Probably not. They're just going to break off this, the X, move away, maybe tased, go to a different defensive weapon, whatever. But anyway, I mean, we could have a conversation just about all that stuff, about case law and that. But, and like I said, I'm not an attorney and I don't want to be, but you kind of have to be as a police officer. I mean, the funny thing is we're multiple personalities. We're really crazy if you really think about it.
Oh, yeah.
Because, we're diagnosed with, we're attorneys, we're counselors, we're marriage counselors, we're, all kinds of stuff. So
I remember feeling ashamed if somebody asked me what the law was on something and I didn't know.
Yeah. I was all about that too.
I was kind of like, damn, well, I'm a cop. Why don't I know that? Like, it seems like I should know that. One of the most embarrassing moments was when I was a rookie, like brand new rookie, and I took a report for a burglary, and I caught the kid, but they weren't home, so it was a burglary too. So I wrote the report and let him go, and I was by myself, and then I went in. They're like, "How come you didn't arrest him?" I was like, "Well, it was a misdemeanor outside of my presence." They're like, "What? Misdemeanor?" I was like, yeah, burglary 2, not 1. Like, they weren't home. And then I was like, oh my God.
That's felony.
I just hadn't caught this kid with the felony and I just let him go, But anyway, I got him later. But that's the kind of stupid crap that you do as a rookie when you're by yourself after 3 months.
That happens. Totally by yourself. Yeah. Actually, one of my recruits today called me, made a call. And he's like, hey, let me run this by you real quick, and it was simple stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you're good there. But that's one of the reasons why I wanted to become a trainer was I wanted to know it all. As far as I did not want to end up as case law and my dad told me when I started, this is before smartphones too, and it was like, hey, when you're on an extra job, take your state statute, your city ordinances, and just read them, memorize them, know them. And when I went on boards and stuff, I could just say them verbatimly, and I'd have people call me like, hey, what do you think about this or what about that? And it was nice to be known as the guy, because my recruit, this idiot, was being stupid. He goes, man, I don't like that sergeant. And he goes, listen, dude, that guy, this is my rookie telling this guy, he goes, he knows policy like so well, you will not win this fight with him on any laws or anything. And I was kind of irritating the younger officers, but this guy was pissing me off. He was just like, he had no leg to stand on, and I kept telling him, I kept throwing gasoline on it for sure, but I was doing it in a smart way, and almost like a prosecutor, where I would like go inside, I go, hey, you don't have a driver's license. Well, you can't drive. If you get in that car and you leave, we're going to stop you. We're going to impound your car. He's like, crap. And then I went, oh, I got one better. I go inside the hotel. Hi, there's a guy being nuisance out there. He's not staying here. Do you want his car impounded? Yeah, I would love to. So I walk back outside and go, hey, guess what? They don't want this car on their property, so you got to figure out something. He goes, well, I don't know what to do, man. I go, just leave. Yeah. And how about this? Just shut your mouth. Because you ain't going to win. And I don't like to rile people up, but I don't like it when people, especially when you show up, they call you for help, and then you're condescending to me, and you're being a smart asshole, and it's like, okay, but you're kind of in the wrong here, and I've had those moments where I'm like, yeah, but what about this? And like, you can't say that to me. I just did. So what? But well, Tommy, I really appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely.
It's been really good. Like this has been I thought this has been a pretty good episode. Your perspective, and I like the fact that you talked about you were in the career and you've left it, and there's hope. There's something else you can do outside of there. And I think a lot of officers, we get stuck about 10 to 15 years in, and you're like, man, this is all I know. So that really kind of opened up my eyes, because I'm already considering other options, for me to have something out there. So I really do appreciate, and your training experience, I mean, in some good, and it's just been overall good. I think I'd give this a 10, man. A 10 out of 10.
Absolutely.
So,
you've been a blast to have. And
and we'd like to come back sometime if you got more stories. I mean, I'd like to have, even your wife, I'd like to hear some of her. Oh, I like hearing from the spouse's perspective of what officers go through and things too. But because his dad, is in law enforcement. We're trying to get his dad on here pretty soon.
Hopefully soon, yeah.
Because we got the bombing coming up. But yeah, I just really appreciate you coming on, though, man. Problem. It's been good.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are also thankful to have the Salty Sarge in recovery and hopefully getting better day by day. But
that's and hopefully we can get this back going again. Just as time and.
Yeah, it's put a damper on the lounge.
The lounge was supposed to be done already, and that's where we're gonna be shooting from and doing everything. But it's kind of on hold right now. But we'll get her done.
But we're back at it. We're ready to go again. This has been a heck of a content release right here.
Good.
So we'll have multiple episodes into this, and we can. Cool. Just jump back into it and get back to having fun with it. I think we kind of miss doing it. And we enjoy having these conversations, hearing from people, listening to their perspectives, and kind of gaining this overall understanding of how law enforcement works and how it affects people and the people around those officers too.
Exactly.
So this has been wonderful. You can find us on Facebook. We're Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you can find it, we'll be there. But I have been Tech Guy, Salty Sarge with us, and thank you once again, Tommy.
Thank you, Tommy. Yes, it's been great.
This has been a blast, and we will see you on the next one.
That's right. Keep your powder dry.
Woo!